Guys, I would love to introduce James Marsters and Juliet Landau here. Welcome. It's good to see both of you. You look great.
Hello, all you beautiful freaks.
Let's get some quick rules out of the way. Real quick, if you could just put your cell phones on silent or vibrate. Do not take any phone calls while you're in the room. And flash and video photography are permitted until our guests tire of it, and then we ask that you respect their wishes and cease to do so. We're going to set up 2 mics in the audience, 1 in each aisle. If you'll just line up on those mics, be sure to kneel down so the people behind you can see. You can start asking some questions.
Right, and this is for me, not Juliet, because Juliet has class. But I always like to say that you guys can ask me anything you want. Anything. I won't necessarily answer anything you ask. So you can go ahead. Yeah, right on.
All right, let's start over on this side of the room if we could.
Hello.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Give the mic, it's up.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think I'm finally learning how to do that job. Like after 13 books. When I first did it, it was so embarrassing. Because A, it is the hardest job I've ever done. Literally, when I come home from doing an audiobook, I'm just curled in a fetal position. My brain has just turned off. Because I guess, you know, for a play, you might, if you're doing a one-man show, you might be on stage for an hour and a half to 3 hours, just by yourself, you know, performing. With film, it's all stop and go, so you have time to rest. But with audiobooks, it's 8 to 10 hours of just go. Wow. And so it's tiring. And you're interrupted every 30 seconds because, like, take a sip of water, you're just a little bit dry in the mouth, Jane. You know, or, you know, that was and you said and, or, you know, whatever the thing is. And you're trying not to get frustrated by being stopped all the time that you're working, trying to hold on to the characters. But that's just the nature of the beast. That's what it is. And if you don't like it, get another job, basically. And I remember when I first did the first Harry Dresden book, I wanted to run away screaming. I was just like, I can't take this out now! And I was telling him, like, no, man, if I get some words wrong, it's not important. The overarching thing is important. They want the dirt, man. The microphone wants the dirt, not everything clean. No, let's not be careful. And it's exactly the opposite is true, right? Because someone spent a lot of time writing these words, and you know. But now I'm really enjoying it, and I'm in the middle of the next one right now. Oh, yeah. And what I like about Jim Butcher is he's able to make the main character Harry more powerful with each book. But like Harry will get this much more powerful, but the world around him gets this much more weird, you know. And so and he's able to do that without making it seem artificial. It all seems to be an organic kind of thing that you know, the lines, the reasons that the world is getting weirder go back books and books and books, and it all makes sense. And yeah, I'm having a blast. You're welcome.
How about over here?
Hi. Hey, I was just wondering, first of all, huge fan. I was wondering,
There we go.
for both of you, if you could have been with a character romantically who you hadn't been with in the show, who would it be? And Angel's too easy.
What was that last one?
Last word, I can hear it. Like, who would you have wanted to be with who you didn't get to be with in the show?
I got to be with everybody. So there's nothing, they paired me
And
with
I
everybody.
had to be with the Chaos Demon.
I was spoiled from the beginning. You know, I got paired with Juliet in the beginning, and I'm afraid it was a little bit downhill after that. Truth.
I mean, my job was really hard when going to work meant working with James and working with David, so I kind of had, you know, it was a good gig.
You're welcome.
Hey, my question is for both of you. Thank you for coming today. James, I know you at least have done some work writing comic books before, specifically a Buffy and it was a Spike and Drew book.
Yeah.
But as the mythos continues and comics become more important to the Buffy storyline, have you guys thought about doing any work in that area?
That's probably best for Juliet to start. Yeah.
I co-wrote 2 issues of the Angel comic book about Drew with Brian Lynch a couple years ago, and that was lots of fun. I actually started doing a 5-issue arc with Dark Horse, and we sort of got 3 of the issues done, but then I've been working back to back, got 2 different movies, and I'm now starting another project. And so we're just trying to figure out scheduling, and hopefully we'll be able to finish it up, so we'll see.
Yeah, and I wrote that one years ago. I had just come from producing theater, and I mistakenly thought that if I wrote in Hollywood, I'd have more power, like I used to have in theater, and I was wrong. In that one, I tried to rip Spike and Drew as far away from each other as humanly possible, or the furthest that I could make the 2 characters, and then find a good reason for them to get back together throughout the comic book. I was just talking with one of the Dark Horse writers, I think it was the head editor, backstage at the last Comic-Con in San Diego, and I pitched him an idea that I gave to Joss for a Spike TV movie that didn't go off. Never happened. And you've heard this before, but I'll ramble on. It was so funny. I was on the phone to Joss, and I was like, man, yeah, Spike TV movie, cool. What do you got? What ideas you got? He goes, I got nothing. He goes, what I do have, I have a line from a movie. I'm like, oh, okay, what is it? And it's Aragorn from the last Lord of the Rings film. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he says, I have no hope for myself, but I have hope for others. Whatever. The line was before he goes off to battle, he knows he's going to die. And I'm like, wow, that's really serious. Okay, how about this, Joss? And I said, what I would like to do for the character is to have him plan to do something and get something for himself and proactively go out and achieve that. Because we've never seen him do that. But it should be something very small that he is able to achieve, because if it's something grandiose, it's going to ring false. So, how about this? How about Spike is homeless, he's gotten away from Angel and Buffy, he's not under their wings anymore, he's trying to make it in the real world, and he's now got a soul, so he can't rob anybody for food, he can't steal, he can't lie, but he's damned if he's going to get a job. So, his coat is falling apart, his boots are falling apart, he tries to save someone in an alley, but his boots are flapping around and it messes him up. And he notices these new pair of boots in a store window, and they're perfect, but he has no money. And he gets run off by the 2 Chinese, the old husband and wife Chinese couple want him gone because he's like a homeless guy. And he hears about a big monster that's coming to town, so he decides that he wants to be a hero about that. He meets a woman that he falls in love with, but he doesn't have the guts to tell her that he's a vampire, so it's really funny how he tries to cover that up through the comic book. Through the whole comic book, he's trying to figure out how am I going to get those boots? Because I have no money, but I can't go in there and steal them. And then he remembers that about 100 years ago, he pulled a robbery and the gang stored their money underneath the floorboards of that store. And so he's like, how do I get back that without breaking in, without lying to them? How do I do that trying to figure out how to be moral in this world. And he finally meets the monster. He gets the monster in an alleyway, at which point the monster unfurls from human height to about 4 feet, 4 times human height, huge, and he has to run away. And he's like, I need a librarian, I need a witch, I need a nerd. You know? And in the fight, the woman sees him fighting, realizes she's a vampire, is horrified, and dumps him. That's okay. And so, you know, he's walking back, and he finally goes, you know, screw it. I'm just going to tell this couple that they have this money under their floorboards. Maybe they'll give me a reward. I don't know. So he goes in there, tells them, and the wife's like, oh, thank you very much, goodbye, and kicks him out. And he's going up, and the man runs behind him and says, look, I saw you looking at the boots before. It's not much, because you just gave us like $500,000, but here's a pair of boots. So he loses the girl, loses the fight, but gets a pair of boots for himself. And that's and Joss goes, God, I like that. That's cheap. And I go, yeah, boss, I wrote it for you, man. That's before they were shoving, you know, $180 million at him to make a movie. So. Which, by the way, if you give Joss Whedon a budget, he'll give you a movie every time.
Yeah.
Over here.
Okay, my question's for James. Do you like playing the evil torture Spike better, or the Spike in a Buffy is like nice and tries to do good?
They were both awesome, but what I found was, like when you're the hero, you're always having to feel guilty about something. You're always most especially, you're always running from A to B, sweating, feeling guilty. Whereas if you're the villain, you're just lurking in an alleyway, waiting for the villain to run by, and then you pop him in the head and you go home. And it's easy. And the script will build you up exactly as powerful and cool as the hero, so that when the end fight comes, it's an equal match. You just have to be comfortable with losing that fight, and it's an easy job. And you don't have to dredge up all this pain from your past or anything. So yeah, evil. Yeah, I love it. We also age well. So I want to be the new Count Dooku, you know, 80 years old with a lightsaber. Question over here.
Hi, if you could do a show together that's running now, what would it be?
TV show? Any show.
Oh.
Bones. I will say there's a great play that Juliet and I should fetch by Stephen Burkhoff. That's an amazing play. Produced in Seattle, and it's so funny. It's about a couple who has no social life at all. And they're desperately trying to get one. So the guy invites a guy that he barely knows from work over for dinner, and they're so excited to have this guy over. And they have this pathetic little dinner party. But every like 15 to 20 seconds, one of the characters will turn to the audience and say how they're really feeling. So they'll be like, hi, well, and that was an interesting thing you said. I don't remember what they said. I'm sweating bullets. What am I going to do? The woman ends up on the table in the middle of the dinner party. This is her inner monologue, so no one else finds it. She ends up on the table talking about her. Sorry, that's too much. No. Well, her fantasy of having a tryst with the garbage men that come every morning. But it really it put my theater coming on the map in Seattle. It's just like a surefire play, and I'm
Funny,
yeah.
right? Yeah. Cool. I want to read it.
Anyway. Question over here.
Yeah, the Whedon universe is known for reusing and using actors they've had before, so given that and what was announced last week, which one of you would look better in a SHIELD uniform?
I think Juliet would look good in any uniform.
And James would look good out of one.
I think that I'm putting together what was announced last week. Joss doing the next Avengers?
Yeah.
Okay, let me go.
Actually, it's a television series on ABC in prime time. Set in the Shield universe. I guess one billion wasn't enough. They want Joss to produce more. So I mean, you know.
Avengers television series. Absolutely. Far out. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's going to sit around Shield being the Shield universe. So.
Absolutely.
We're always at live action.
Yeah, yeah.
This has been like 30 years in the making. I mean, this is long overdue.
That's great.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Hats off to Jonas.
All right.
Question over here.
Would you mind doing 30-second impersonations of Spike and Drusilla for us?
Bloody hell, I've moved on with my life. I don't do that anymore. Drew, don't you agree? How about we've moved on for a while?
I don't know.
I mean, we've got other parts of ourselves, don't we? We haven't shown everything to everybody. Drew's got all sorts of different colours and different notes within it if you've never even seen.
Yeah, that's right.
Question over here.
Hi.
Hey,
I'm rewatching all of the Buffy episodes right now, and I'm just watching all of your great scenes. And I'm thinking all of the clothes back then are so different from now. What would Drew and Spike be wearing these days?
I don't know. I mean, Drew's style was always this sort of, the idea was a little bit of the obviously Victorian look. So I think that that character always sort of had that. But the idea then was a cross between that and the heroin chic fashion look. So with the nails and all the stuff. I'm not sure what now I'd do. I'd raid them all, kill some people, and steal some clothes.
Yeah. And Spike basically got one costume for 7 years. It's like Gilligan's Island. And I don't think I'd be given another one. It worked out. So.
But it was a cool coat.
Yeah, it was a good coat. And like, I never had to worry. Everybody else was always like talking to the costume department. Did I have a jacket in the last one? Should I bring it from A to B? What shoes should I wear? I'm like, I'm done. I'll be in my trailer.
At least you weren't like in a corset for 16 hours a day. Or were you?
All right,
Let's take another question from over here.
Hi, this is for both of you because you were both on Angel, but not part of Angel Investigations. So how did that feel like on the set?
To be on the Angel set, but not be a part of the... You know, for me, being on Buffy and Angel felt like one big set, even though they shot in different areas. We shot Angel primarily, the home base was the Paramount lot, and we shot on the west side for Buffy. But so many of the cast and crew that we worked with on one worked on the other, and I was always working with the same group of actors. Primarily, I was working with James, David, and Julie, and Sarah, you know, but so on Angel it was with those people. So it kind of just felt very similar, extending the character from one to the next. What didn't feel all that different, really. And our, you know, camera op on Buffy became a DP of Angel. So, you know, it really was like one big family.
Yeah.
As I was concerned.
You know, as far as being an outsider, so to speak, on that, it was the same for both of us on Buffy and Angel. We were outsiders. The thing is, the show was written by a guy and writers that felt like outsiders growing up. It was really about anyone in the world who feels like an outsider, which is everyone in the